Welcome back everyone to a new advanced tips and tricks video for Breath of the Wild. My first advanced tips video was such a great success thanks to all of you, and your comments and subs over the last couple years has been overwhelming for me. So before I get started here, I wanted to take a few seconds to just say thanks to everyone who's watched my videos, left really great comments for me, and of course to the thousands of new subscribers I've received because of it. It really means a lot to me. Because of that, I decided I would make another video with some more cool things, including some fun glitches. I'll go ahead and state for the record that if you're somewhat new to Breath of the Wild, this video will likely have a few spoilers, and that the glitches shown here will definitely be considered cheating, of course, but I did leave out some well-known glitches that completely break the game and ruin the motivation to really play it much. These are more just for fun when you're at your end game phase and just looking for more interesting things to do. I'll start off with a couple of tips that aren't really glitches, but were things I didn't know about for a long time. Tip number 1, sneak attack chains. If you are able to sneak up behind an enemy to get a sneak attack prompt, after you execute the attack, the enemy will always turn around to where you attacked them from, no matter where you are when they get up. This allows you to simply just walk to the other side and immediately get another sneak attack in as they turn around. Of course, this will only work on normal enemies and probably doesn't need mentioning, but obviously this will not work on world bosses like Lynels, Hinox, etc. Tip number 2, elemental traps. If you thought elemental weapons were great for their utility purposes and keeping you warm or cool by melting ice blocks, starting fires, etc., then you're going to love this one. With a two-handed elemental weapon, you can make a persistent elemental effect on the ground to use for a multitude of utility purposes. With a fire weapon, you can set it on top of some wood to make a fire you never have to relight. With a shock weapon, you can make a trap that will permanently stun an enemy in place until dead. Unfortunately, however, frost weapons will not work with this method. To set this up, simply attack with your Great Thunder Blade, and as the elemental effect starts, open up your inventory and drop the weapon. Then use anything metallic nearby or drop a metal item and use magnesis to set it on top of your Thunderblade. If done correctly, you'll see the electricity sparking from the weapon. Then simply lure an enemy into it and voila, they are now trapped there until you remove the shock trap or they die. This is a very slow but fun way to cheese most enemies, including the Guardians from the Test of Strength shrines, and save on your weapon's durability. Side note for this trick, when making a persistent fire, make sure to use magnesis to set your flame blade on top of the wood. If you drop the wood on top of your blade, it will likely disappear, which is a no-go. Can't have that. Tip number 3, arrow duping. Now I'm not sure if this trick counts as a glitch, but it does give you near infinite regular arrows. It won't work with the other arrow types, so it's not too overpowered, but it will save you some money on staying stocked on regular arrows. There are few places where this will work, but a quick and easy spot is right at the entrance to the Lost Woods. There is a torch that you can just stand right next to, pull out a bow with multi-shot, and simply shoot once. The arrows will stick to it, allowing you to pick them up before they burn out. Since you only consume one arrow to shoot, you'll net more arrows each shot you do. Obviously, this will work best with a ×5 Lynel bow, so I'd recommend using one of those. You can repeat this ad nauseum, but it will consume durability on your bow. But even the life of a single ×5 Lynel bow will net you enough arrows to last a long time to get another one, or use some of the fun glitches later in this video to ensure an infinite arrow stock. Tip number 4, and this is where we start getting into some of the glitches here. We are talking about weapon duping, and this is the weapon duping method number 1 that I have for you. First thing you want to do is find an enemy with a weapon that you want. We all know Hyrule Castle is chock full of great weapons, so it's a great place to do this. After you've picked your mark, you want to find where the enemy spawns with the weapon of your choice, and make a shock trap mentioned earlier for him at that spot. Then make a fire or use a fire trap so you don't have to keep lighting it, and wait until morning over and over as often as you would like. Each time you come back to, the enemy will spawn and drop his weapon because of the shock trap. But he'll have a new one as well, and they will just pile up on the ground. After some repetitions, pull your shock weapon out, pick up all the weapons. They can spawn with random modifiers as well, so this is a good way to find high damage rolls to use for my next dupe method. As a side note, however, of the enemies I've tried this on, the only time I got random modifiers on the weapons were from silver enemies, or possibly golden enemies in master mode, though I haven't tested that yet. On the black enemies, I just got a bunch of the base weapon with no modifiers. Also, if your target dies, you will have to wait for a blood moon to do this method on that enemy again. Before I explain the second weapon duping method that I have, you'll first need to know tip number 5, the menu overload glitch. There are multiple ways to do this, but the easiest I've seen so far is by stocking up on about 6 to 8 bows that shoot multiple arrows. Equip one and set your active arrows to shock arrows. Then in game, simply tap the bow button to bring it out, but not shoot. Then, in your inventory, drop the equipped bow and equip a new one. Back out to the game again, then back to your inventory, and repeat this process until you notice Link's model in the menu being partially displayed. Usually, you'll just see his head. Once you see that, you're in the state called menu overload. Now, there are many uses for this state, but I'll just go over a couple of them. Also, some things to keep in mind: any item you drop from the menu while in this state just simply disappears. So be mindful to not lose anything important. And finally, to end the glitch, simply pick up your bows and everything goes back to normal. That brings us to tip number 6 and my second weapon duping method. Now, before you execute the menu overload glitch to do this, make sure you have equipped whatever weapon, bow, and/or shield you will be wanting to duplicate. Secondly, get yourself into the menu overload state mentioned earlier. Once here, we can start duplicating our items. To start the process, you'll first need to desync Link from the inventory. This means having an item equipped represented by it being highlighted in the inventory, but Link's model in the menu showing something else equipped. This is most easily done by having an elemental rod. Simply equip the rod, then equip anything else that isn't the weapon you're currently holding outside the menu and wanting to duplicate. You'll also notice the normally equipped sound doesn't play when it's working correctly. From there, back out of the menu and just throw your weapon on the ground. Go pick it up, and then you'll notice in your inventory that you now have another of that item. If you'd like to make even more, repeat these steps by equipping the elemental rod, swap to another weapon, then throw your weapon on the ground again. It's slightly more complicated for bows and shields because you can't throw them. However, you can set yourself up a shock trap. Once you have that and the menu overload state active, equip your elemental rod and then something else to activate the desync. Then in your bow or shield tab, equip something that's not the item you're wearing out in the game. After that, pull out your bow or shield and walk into the shock trap, making you drop the item. Then pick it up and repeat the process until satisfied. Tip number 7, duping durability. Now, this is very similar to duplicating the items that we just did earlier, but you can actually set the durability of any weapon, bow, or shield to another with this method. The setup is exactly the same, so just follow those steps in the last tip, and have Link equipped through desync with the item you want to increase the durability for. You'll show the high durability item equipped in the overworld, but the item for repair equipped in the inventory. Now all you need to do is use durability, simply done by jump attacking the ground with a melee weapon, shooting a single shot with a bow, or shield surfing in place with a shield. The result will set the durability of that item to the equipped item's durability -1. So if your durability is 80 and you repair an item, it'll go to 79. Of course, you won't see the actual durability numbers in the menu, however. Using this trick, you can set any shield to have the insane durability of the Hylian shield, any bow to have the high durability of the ancient bow, and any melee weapon to the high durability of the spring-loaded hammer. Tip number 8, infinite gems. For my last tip of the video today, I'm going to show you guys a way to get infinite topaz, sapphires, and rubies. At the Riverside stable, there's a girl named Parsi, and she wants to buy your Royal Guard items off you in exchange for these gems. Using the menu overload glitch, we can abuse this for as many free gems as we want. To set this up, start by making sure you only have one Royal Guard item in your inventory across weapons, bows, and shields. Then equip anything other than the Royal Guard item that you have. After that, set up the menu overload state. Once that is done, desync Link to the Royal Guard weapon. Finally, go talk to Parsi. She'll notice the weapon and offer you a gem for it. Accept the offer and you'll notice it's still in your inventory. So you can keep talking to her and accepting random gems for as long as you'd like. Now, this is a great way to help out with upgrading your equipment and making money very fast. Alright, and that's it for this advanced tips and tricks video today. If you found this helpful, a like on the video really does help out a lot and is really appreciated. Aside from that, feel free to let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more of these videos or if there's anything else you're looking for that I could help out with. As well as that, you can also catch me live on streaming here on YouTube. But other than that, thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.